the Tuesday, June 28th, 2022 School Building Committee meeting to order. The first order of business is acknowledgement of public participation. On June 16th, 2021, Governor Baker signed into law an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This act includes an extension until July 15th, 2022 of the remote meeting provision of this March 12th, 2020 executive order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Citizens with a question or comment can email mwalpole@walpole.k12.ma.us or middleschoolproject@walpole.k12.ma.us. I'd like to add, if I could, with a quick comment on my part. We had some fireworks in the last meeting, and I'd ask if we could, going forward, if we could maintain some civility and some professionalism. And specifically, I think to that end, I suggest if anybody has a question or a concern, maybe they phrase their question or concern or what they're looking for in the form of a motion so that the whole body can make the request to make sure that information is being shared efficiently, I guess. And we might be able to avoid some of the fireworks going forward. So with that, let me move on to our next order of business. I'd like to take a motion, if I could, to approve the May 24th meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion from Ms. Gaositz. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Hamilton. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Fisher? Yes. Mr. Barrett?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan?
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz?
Yes.
Dr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Conroy?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Fisher? Mr. Jeffrey Fisher? Mr. Jack Fisher?
I came in late. I'll have to abstain.
Okay, very good. Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Sinek?
Abstain.
I vote yes, it is a vote. Did I miss anybody?
Back to me, I found the mute button, but
Okay.
abstain.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That's Mr. Jeffrey Fisher abstaining as well. So next is a status update from Compass.
Right. Jim, you ready? Chair, you on mute?
So the status update on the 60, we're in the process of getting the 60% CD package together. We are expecting to issue the pricing set on this Friday, and TAPE had confirmed that everything is on schedule. And we will get a draft estimate back on July 19th. And then we will reconciliate and then report back to the committee on July 26th. And that if it is to review and approve the 60% CD in terms of cost and package and the potential VE, and if that does not, if we cannot get that done by July 26th, there will be a meeting on August 2nd. And I believe that the invitation and the meeting link has been sent out today to the committee, and you should look for that. And that we hope to have everything completed on August 2nd at the latest. And for the summer work that we are seeking for approval for the early release package number 1 today. And with the approval that the fountain will start on site the week of July 11th, and then the fields will be ready for the use of fall sports by August 17th, and then August 22nd, the teachers will have a tour of the building, and August 25th, the sneak preview for the 6th grader. And then August 29th, that teachers return, and all the work outside of the construction fence will be completed. And then so it will be ready for the first day of school. And we also have the construction logistic. Brian, would you like to take this?
Sure, Tim. Just make sure I'm not on mute here. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, so this is a response to some questions that we received, kind of what happens during the construction phase as we move forward in general. And this is just a high level of kind of the logistics of the project. Fontaine, obviously, once the construction fence goes up, we'll have full control of the areas within the fence, and we're closing the bird site for all intents and purposes during the summer. So it won't be the pedestrian access between Washington and East Street for a majority of the time until August 29th. Outside the fence, we will be working with Fontaine daily to coordinate anything with the existing school, such as some of those dates that we talked through with the new teacher orientation, the 5th grade, 6th grade sneak peek days, as well as anything that we need to do with the town as far as work connecting into existing utilities or whatever there may be. Construction monitoring, so we will have presence on site during construction daily, full-time for the most part. Definitely once full construction starts in September, coordinating everything on site with the school, as well as coordinating third-party testing, owner testing as needed, working with the commissioning agent when that comes on board. Overall construction observation, we will be helping with TAP as we'll be on site daily, but TAP will be on site regularly, reviewing work for conformance to plans and specification, along with our design team and engineers as we get into deeper into construction. We'll be seeing all the engineers on site at different times as work is being placed. They'll be issuing reports, et cetera. RFIs or requests for information, if Fontaine or subcontractors have questions, they'll be reviewed by TAP with input from Compass or the town if necessary, or the district. Review of submittals, which are products that Fontaine and contractors will want to use. Again, reviewed by TAP with input from Compass and the town if needed. Change order process, if something comes up, Compass will manage that process. Those will be generated by Fontaine, either in response to requests for a change, or if something comes up unforeseen. We'll review that along with TAP, bring that back to this committee's attention. You'll be seeing kind of a regular update on the status of change orders throughout construction, as well as approval of all invoices. So just like we do now with the invoices during design, we'll be folding in the contractor's invoice during construction. We'll be reviewing that as part of the monthly process, getting that into the vendor invoice package that this committee sees monthly at this meeting, and recommending payment of those invoices just like we do now. So yeah, we'll be heavily involved, and as construction gets going, we'll be on site daily, most likely full-time throughout the summer, and definitely full-time once construction starts in full swing this September. I don't know if that, and very similar to the same process that we had, if you were familiar with the municipal projects, ran them the same way. We had full-time site presence, monthly reports to this committee, as well as once or twice meetings with this committee to kind of go through schedule and budget and change orders and things of that nature, and any issues or questions that came up. We'll also expand our monthly report in the dashboard that you get to include construction elements, including progress to date and progress for the coming weeks, an update on schedule, an update on budget, a review of all the financials, change orders, et cetera, and any issues that any major issues that we might be tracking. Other than that, any general questions related to that? And we'll get in more details and move through construction, but we just wanted to give you a quick overview of kind of what the next steps are once construction forces start to arrive on site. Jack, did you have a question? Jack Fisher?
Yeah, I got a quick one. Would you go back to the schedule slide for a second?
The summer one?
Yeah. Yeah. It shows that you're going to start construction the week of July 11th and finish up about 7 weeks later. And so in that period of time, in that 7 weeks, you've got to do all of the work outside the fence. Are you comfortable that they're going to be able to get all that work done? Because we basically are losing almost a month from when school finished until you're actually starting the construction.
I can speak to that, Jack. So we've really kind of narrowed down the scope of work that has to be done this summer to parking, roadways, some oil tank removal. The schedule is very much tied to the contract, and we have a high level of confidence that we can get everything we need to get done this summer done ahead of faculty and staff and students coming back.
Okay, I just had to ask that question because it seems pretty compressed right now, but if you fine tune the scope, I'm satisfied with that. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, just a small one.
Yeah.
I'm reading this to say that the sports fields are closed to students right now. Has anybody communicated that to the different sports and the organizations that might want to use it?
The answer, the quick answer is yes, that we've been in communication with the athletic director as well as the parks, recreation, and right now all the activities on the Byrd Middle School site has been relocated during the summer, and so that everybody is under the same understanding that with the intended schedule, and that Fontaine will make we're not really touching the sports field, but it's just that they definitely will make sure that the sports field is cleared by August 17th. So the answer is we are in contact, and then to the best of our knowledge, all the parties have been notified.
Thank you.
Any other
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah.
Okay, hearing none, I'll move forward.
I'm sorry. I think, was there a question there or was that you, Chin? I'm sorry. No, I guess not. Yeah.
Okay, I'll move forward. This is a schedule that for the rest of the year, that it's a sort of the same slide that you have seen before. I just simply added, just want to point it out that that the summer work will get started in the and then that this is a very rough schedule in terms of when the work will get started. There were a couple of corrections that I missed the date on the schedule the last time here, and then we will likely to add another meeting in October. I'm still fine tuning that schedule in that. And the last meeting that you have seen this early release package and the approximate amount of dollars. And today that we will be, Fontaine is I'm going to let Joe go over the package number 1 and walk the committee through what is being requested in this early release package number 1.
All right, thanks, Jim. So in the time since our last presentation, last meeting, we've ran a competitive bid process for the ERP1 bid package 31-1 site enabling work. So that is just the site work that we need to get in place this summer in terms of parking, roadways, things of that nature, fencing, that kind of aerial view of Byrd Middle School with all kinds of colorful markups on it. So that's what's kind of captured here. So we went out to 10 different subcontractors. It's a very competitive, very busy time right now. And this is obviously kind of a smaller, condensed amount of work. So we wanted to make sure we got good attention on it. We received 3 good competitive bids from 3 good reputable contractors that we have a lot of experience with. We've held these scope meetings to go through and make sure that everybody, all 3 of the bidders, had everything we needed them to have, that they're all familiar with the schedule, and that they're going to be able to deliver the project, this portion of the project for us. So of the 3 bidders, we are recommending the low bidder. That's Robert B. Auer Company, Inc. They checked in at $999,903, and I don't know, Chin, if we distributed leveling sheets or anything to the whole group, but
the leveling sheet was sent to the committee, but I did not include it in the presentation.
okay, good. So that information is all available. You can see kind of where the other numbers came in and so forth. But our recommendation, we sent a letter of recommendation to the committee to award that bid package 31-1 to Robert B. Auer. So I believe that is the main ask from our end today. We've also kind of broken out the other pieces of the contract that would go at the same time. So there's the Robert B. Hour piece, their individual subcontract for the site enabling work. And then there's some other pieces of work that we know we're going to need to do that we'll need to hire other contractors to do or to buy ourselves, things like that. So we've kind of itemized out some scope holds, we've called them, and allowances. So these are pools of money to deal with specific things we know we have to get done this summer that would be tracked, and all any costs against these would be backed up with actual costs. And then the lower portion of the summary is the kind of indirect costs of the construction management that go along with this first bid package. So this is all, straight from price proposal. So the ask right now is for an approval for that ERP1 bid package 31-1 letter recommendation for us to engage Robert Hour for that summer work. And then Jen, I believe it's we will prepare a full, we'll call it Amendment 1. It'll actually become an amendment to the contract. So it'll have the Robert Hour piece, and then it'll have this kind of breakdown, the summary that you see here with all of the backup and itemized. So that'll get produced after we engage Robert Hour. And so that Amendment 1 document will be produced and will require a signature by the town at some point within the next month or so. So I guess this ask would be also authorization to authorize somebody on the committee to execute that agreement.
So the request is that to the committee to approve the amount of $1.5 million or $1,525,029 for the amount for the Amendment 1 for the scope that just described. And we will need a vote from the committee to authorize that. Mark, I guess we need a motion. You're on mute.
Always mute. Or if there's any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
Ben has their hand raised.
Yep, Ben.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Real quick question. So Jack Fisher had alluded to the schedule and that there was some time that had elapsed before mobilization in order to get this work done. So the schedule was somewhat condensed. Is the scope that's represented in this package the same as we've talked about all along here, or has there been scope removed to, because of the schedule there? I know that you had said your answer to Jack Fisher's question was something along the lines of the contract, this or that, but is it the same scope that was always intended for this time period? Was anything removed? If you could just kind of highlight that a little bit.
Yeah, so the timeline was established before we came on board. We knew when documents were going to be available and so forth. And all of our planning has designed to get the scope we need to get done this summer on the schedule we always knew we had to work with. So no, there's been no changes to the scope we anticipated.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Other questions? So hearing none, if somebody could please phrase a motion to approve these costs. Or I could do it. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the cost for the early release package and for, I guess, what's been referred to as Amendment Number 1 to the Fontaine contract for the amount listed in your packet. Do we have a second? All right, second from Mr. Conroy. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Barrett.
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton.
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan.
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz.
Yes.
Dr. Goff.
Yes.
Mr. Conroy.
Yes.
Mr. Jeffrey Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Jack Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Connor.
Yes.
Mr. Senek.
Yes.
And did I miss anybody? And I vote yes, it is a vote. So our next order of business is to vote to approve the vendor invoice package for May of 2022. So Chin, I guess this is you again.
Yes. On the screen that you should see this is the vendor invoice for this past month, and that is consists of that we have an advertisement for Hometown Weekly in order for the project to move forward on the bidding, and encompasses fee invoice of $29,756.50 and TAPA's invoice of $317,600. And we have two invoices from Beta as they performed the peer review for the Conservation Commission's hearing for the permitting, and that for the total amount of $353,477.41. And I have this is the invoice of these invoices are in your package. So I don't know if there's any question on that.
Questions or comments about the vendor invoice package?
And then these two pages are the current status of the contract amount, and that we're tracking. And then this shows where each of the funds are being drawn from in the account for the accounting purpose. And then with the last page is the status of the reimbursement. And as of now, that the town has received $1,327,856 reimbursement from MSBA already. And we will need a vote for the approval to pay for the vendor invoice for this month.
Questions or comments?
Yeah, Mark, quick one.
Yeah, Jack.
Can we get, can I ask Compass or the rest of them to get rid of the pennies? Because I'm gonna tell you, I've been involved and people, accountants go back and they can't find 52 cents and it's like, if we could just round up or round down. Because
I will make that request to the accounting department, yes.
thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I would
Make a
take a
motion.
motion. Yep, Jeffrey,
Make a motion to approve vendor invoice package dated 5/31 in the amount of $353,477.41.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Second from Ms. Gallivan. We poll the committee. Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
yes.
Ms. Giositz,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Conroy,
Yes.
Mr. Jeffrey Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Jack Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor.
Yes.
Mr. Senek,
Yes.
and I vote yes, it is a vote. Next is TAP-A. TAP-A has a presentation for us.
Jen, do you want me to share the screen or do you want to share the screen?
Yes, your co-host, so you should be able to
Okay.
share.
Thank you. Nothing came up yet, did it?
No,
Okay, give me a second here. Let me try this again. Okay. So we had our tours last week. Everyone can see the screen now, correct?
Yes.
So we had our tours last week. We did the tour last Wednesday of Clyde Brown, and then we had the tour of Sharon on Thursday. I think we had 3 people out there on Wednesday's tour and 4 people on Thursday. So we walked through both buildings, kind of looked at the materials that are similar in each building and that we'll be using on your project as well. So we went through Clyde Brown. It had very similar bricks, utility brick and precast sills, polycarbonate panels, metal panels, window and curtain wall, and both ceramic and porcelain tile on the interior. And we also looked at the wood doors and casework, which will be a similar finish to what we are proposing on your project. Overall, it went really well. I know we had a couple comments regarding the red brick on the project mixed with the beige. And the good news is we are not currently doing that on your project. As you can see, we have the sample boards that we got from our brick consultant. Those are currently at Town Hall. I think they're in Patrick's office. So you can see the utility brick down here with the darker brown. And then we have the offset brick. and then we have the mixed blend up above. And then we also have the panel for the gray slate CMU. And then we also have the CMU for the gym, which is the Adobe CMU. We got this panel and it looked a little peachier than what the small sample was that we received originally. So we have another 2 boards with similar colors that kind of look like they'll match the utility brick a bit better. So once we get those samples, we will bring them over to Town Hall as well. We also went through Sharon on Thursday. That is a high school project, so it relates a little bit more closer to your middle school project than the elementary school we walked through. We got to see the polished concrete floors in that. That was a kind of a big one that wasn't in the other school, and they looked well, and it looked like everyone kind of liked the look that we had going there. And then most of the other things were very similar for the materials with the metal panels, wooden curtain wall. We have some of the wood ceilings in this project that we are using in your project as well in the cafeteria and in some of the corridor spaces. We looked at the auditorium and the kind of the layout and the acoustical panels and everything else and kind of described what the setup was there and how it relates to your project here. And then again, we had the same sort of finishes for the ceramic and porcelain tiles. The bathrooms here really kind of related to what we're doing in your project with the large porcelain tiles on the wet wall, and then the 3x12 ceramic tiles on the surrounding walls. And again, we had similar sort of casework and woodwork finishes based on the millwork and casework and doors in that project as well. Any questions on the tours or materials? We're looking to have a materials presentation to you guys. The goal is to have a presentation on the 21st of July with the working group, and then another presentation with you guys on the 26th. And that'll be an in-person presentation so you guys can actually see and touch the physical samples that we're putting together for you. Any questions?
Or comments? I was on the tour. It's nice to put a visual with some of the materials. You know, the construction is one thing, the building is one thing, but we were there to kind of look at the materials themselves. So any questions or comments? So that brings us to the next item on the agenda. I would accept a motion to adjourn.
I have one more slide. I've got the kind of
I'm
the
sorry.
construction document plan and look ahead.
Yep.
So I think we told you guys this before, but we got the land disturbance permit that was issued by Conservation Commission. So that has been passed along to Fontaine, and Fontaine is now coordinating their kind of on-site meetings with the Conservation Commission so they can get started construction in July with moving earthwork and the ER1 package. So that is underway. We have the ongoing assembly of the 60% CD estimate package, which will be going out on Friday. Moving into July, we will be answering any of the questions from the estimators as they come in. We're creating the finished materials boards that we just talked about for the presentation to you guys in July, and that includes some updated renderings with the updated materials and finishes. And then continuing on, coordination for the upcoming 60% MSBA submission. We'll continue to coordinate and the detailing as we continue to evolve the construction documents for issuance in December. And then finally, moving on to the next week, it's the holiday on the 4th. We're kind of just moving along with the same things. We'll be continuing to update the finished boards and update our renderings. We have the materials coming in kind of daily that we've been ordered. And again, we're also working on the ER2 site and metal deck package. So we've been coordinating that with our consultants and with Fontaine as well. So we're continuing to put that package together as well. That's all I have, unless anyone has any other questions.
Mark, I have a,
Jack.
I don't remember if I brought this up before, but as we're getting into it deeper, as we did on the police station and the fire station, I encourage especially the police, go to a couple of these stations. And if you're the dispatcher, head dispatcher, talk to the dispatcher at a couple of these. And what I'm saying is, the school people who are going to occupy the building, these department heads, at least go visit a couple of them and to see what they liked, what they didn't, what works, what doesn't, so that you don't want something that nobody's gonna like when it's done, but you're also using someone else as something that didn't work, and kind of solved a lot of problems just from, is the window correct, in this office, or any of those little items to get flushed out. Someone needs an outlet a little closer, yeah, we can move it now because it doesn't cost you anything on a drawing, but later on. So what I'm saying is explore these other schools, what works, what doesn't, so that when your people kind of come into it, they know what they're going to get, what works for them. That's all.
Thanks, Jack. Anybody else?
Mark,
Yeah,
Yes, Jack.
just quickly on the schedule. Our next meeting is on the 26th of July. There may be one on the 2nd if we don't get the package done in time. When is the meeting at the end of August?
Give me a second here. My apology that I need to pull that up.
823, Jack, we have,
Okay.
at that point, we'll have the early release package 2, which is the full site package. And then we're targeting an 823 meeting to approve that. And it'd be also July invoices, things of that nature.
Okay, and the working groups will recommence on July 7th every other week, right?
Yep, yeah, we've held
Yes.
that every other week schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, Jen has a question and I have something else to add.
And Nancy has one too.
yes.
Nancy, you were next, I think. Nancy?
Muted, Nancy.
Nancy, you're on mute, I think. I think she's lost her audio.
You're not on mute, Nancy, but we can't hear you.
Try it again. Can you hear me
There
now?
you go. There you go. Yep.
I think they were asking us to take an additional vote earlier on to approve somebody to sign the early release package. Am I wrong about that?
No, I think if the committee is recommending approval, I believe Jim signs the contract amendments.
Okay.
He signed the full contract for all the consultants and Fontaine.
Thanks, I'm done.
And you had a question? You're on mute, Jen.
Oh, yeah. So I just wanted to address what Jack was saying about touring schools, and to say that we have been touring a lot of the schools to get ideas and speaking to administrators in the schools as to what works and what doesn't. For instance, I brought this up when we did the tour of the elementary school, just the fact that their tile was not as high on the wall as ours was going to be. We got that feedback visiting Braintree. So I think there is a lot to be said about visiting schools and talking to people. And we have been incorporating some of that. So I just wanted to point that out.
We've also passed some of that info along for, I know, like for Danvers, we passed along the contact over there to the SPED department, and so that people could reach out from the school here and kind of, get the same ideas of what worked for them well and what doesn't work for them well, so we can, address it in your design.
Anybody else?
Mark, I'd just like to remind that as of July 15th, the remote meeting exemption will expire. So our next meeting, which is on July 26th, would have to meet the full open meeting regulation, so that we will need a quorum in person in the room for the meeting to meet a public meeting requirement, and anyone else after that can still join remotely. So that makes a change, and I will work with Patrick to figure out a room, and I'll send it to everybody.
Yeah, Chin, I would just, if I can, Mr. Chairman, I would just say, we'll just keep an eye on what the legislature does. I know that there's a number of boards and committees in town that would be impacted by that. So, over the course of the next 2 weeks or so, we'll keep an eye on if they further extend that and what we need to do to prepare for that.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Chin. Anything else, Chin?
No, that's all.
Mark, I get a quick update.
Yep.
Just so folks in the committee are aware, we're actually going to be launching a project called it's a collaboration site. Basically think of it as a website just for this committee. We've tried it out now with Dr. Goff and Mike and Patrick to make sure they had access. And the goal there is to now we're moving to construction. Things are getting busier to help streamline some of the communications. What this will be allow us to do is basically we'll be able to post, the project schedule, a meeting schedule. There'll be a more efficient, let's call it a file folder structure for you folks to find documents you might be interested in. Basically anything that we sent out to you, we'll be able to load meeting presentations to that folder. You'll be able to view them, download them. There'll be some historical things there. TAPA can upload their presentations as well. And the goal is just trying to alleviate having all of those things kind of throughout your email. We'll still be sending them out, but as far as like you sitting down on a Saturday trying to get caught up, everything's going to be in one place. So look for that. Our goal is to have that out next week, so the start of July. And then going forward, we'll be able to post documents in advance of this meeting and post this meeting as things are made available. So it's a little bit easier for you to access things.
Thanks, Brian. Anybody else? All right, hearing no questions, I would take a motion to adjourn.
Mark, hold on.
Mark, you
Yep,
got
Jeff, I'm sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, no, Brian, to that point, are you going to be posting historical documents to that as well?
Yeah, so what we have up there now, kind of as a test run, Jeff, is we have all of the like vendor invoice packages for this year. We have the meeting minutes from this committee for this year. We have like all the payment requests to the MSBA. We were going to put in kind of the highlights of the design development submission. So
Okay.
floor plans, site plans, the estimate. And then that way, when we get the CDs, like you'll have that for reference. So it's not going to be everything. Again, trying to keep it a little more efficient, but if there's something that, you think would make sense to put up there that you don't see up there once you get access to it, let us know and we'll try to get it up there.
Thanks.
Quick question for Brian.
Yeah, Jack, go ahead.
Only look at what you guys send us. I don't look at, do you have a regular website that you update the people? So if they want to go on, they click?
Do we have a project website?
We did that. Right. I know you don't have to put the invoices on there. I mean, it's some of the mundane stuff, but it's just like some of the updates.
Yep. Yeah, that's on the project website is a subpage to the school's main page. That's where we've been posting everything from the beginning. So I think these presentations and meetings get posted there. Any of the major community forum updates get posted there. So yeah, from a public perspective, they can kind of watch these meetings, see these presentations, see the community forums, and we kind of give a high level schedule posted there as well. This will be more information just for this committee that typically wouldn't get public.
No,
posted to the public website.
That's my point, Brian. I don't think someone wants to comb through seeing what, the concrete testing cost and all that stuff.
Right.
It's more of an update of what's really happening. So, okay. Thank
Yep.
you.
Anybody else? All right, finally, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Gallivan, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Senek. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Conroy,
Yep.
Mr. Jeffrey Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Jack Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Connor.
Yes.
Mr. Senek,
Yes.
and I vote yes. It is a vote. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.